Marvel Fan 45 here, and now that I'm back from my trip, it's time to do my first review in a long time, and I am really excited to review this one. So today we'll be reviewing Inland Empire. It was released in 2006, directed by David Lynch, and stars Laura Dern, Justin Theroux, Naomi Watts, and Laura Herring. And the plot follows an actress who gets cast in a cursed Polish film. And yeah, that's about it. So Inland Empire is a film I love. I adore this film. It's in my top 10 of all time. It's sort of like Mulholland Drive on acid, if that's the best way I can put it. Because Mulholland Drive, if you've seen that, they're only like the beginning, the end, and some parts in the middle are like confusing, you can't understand. It's up to your interpretation. But here, the first hour, it's semi-confusing, but there's a plot. Then the last 2 hours, there's absolutely no plot, nothing is explained, and you're just watching. It's wow. It's an experience, and to give you an idea of how good this movie is, I was gonna watch it on my trip when I watched Come and See for the first time and double feature them, but I figured before I went on my trip I would just watch like an hour of the movie just to decide if I really wanted to watch it or not and take some time off the runtime because it is 3 hours. And I ended up watching all 3 hours in one night. It's that good. Lynch has a way of making stories so engrossing. Like, again, Mulholland Drive. Like, that is one of the most engrossing... I don't know if it's sort of a thriller, but also a love story and a horror movie. Mulholland Drive is a lot. But Inland Empire just engrosses you and keeps you entertained the full way through. But nothing is explained, so once again, you have to be ready for this. Inland Empire is something where I would say if you have not seen stuff like Eraserhead or Mulholland Drive, if you're not used to Lynch, pretty much, do not watch this film. If you're not used to more experimental styles of cinema, like Goodbye to Language or Blue, then I would not watch this film. This film is not for normal film goers. It's the complete opposite. But yeah, Inland Empire is a really interesting film because it ends in a weird way where it's sort of a happy ending, but at the same time it's not. It's bittersweet, but like, you don't even fully comprehend what's happening. Like, the ending literally just, my jaw dropped at a specific scene when a specific thing happens in the last 30 minutes before they get to the hallway scene. Like, my jaw dropped. Like when Laura Dern walks into a specific area, but then it cuts to a specific other thing. Then another thing is also simultaneously happening, which makes it much more complex than it already is. Like, this film is extremely complex. Like, it requires, like, I don't even think I could say like 2 or 3 viewings. This is a film that requires like 10 viewings because I think I semi-understood what was happening, but at the same time, it also does not make sense what was happening because of, once again, like, this movie takes you for a ride. Like, first hour, you semi-understand what's going on. Last 2 hours, you don't. Like, there's literally a dance sequence. There's a dance sequence for no apparent reason. But there is an apparent reason. Like, the song that plays, there's a specific reason that specific song plays. I do not know what that reason is, but I want to. I mean, I'm currently gonna try and rewatch it and get more of my interpretation set in stone. Because, like, I didn't even understand the base level plot after those 2 hours happened. Because, like, one specific thing happens involving someone knocking on a door, and then that same thing happens in another shot, and it completely reverses the meaning of that shot and makes that shot make no sense. It's extremely interesting. It's a film I legitimately want to do research on. I'm currently researching Melancholia, though. I'm building up a theory on it. But yeah, for now I'm focusing on Melancholia because I want to catch all the layers to that film. But after Melancholia, Inland Empire. BS. If you're a fan of Lynch or experimental cinema, I highly recommend this film. Once again, it's in my top 10 of all time. Need to make that favorite films video eventually. But yeah, I would recommend watching Eraserhead and Mulholland Drive first, before you get to this. Like, oh, and then I'd also throw in Goodbye to Language or Blue. I'm a huge fan of experimental cinema, so maybe start with some of Lynch's other films, then watch this. Because, once again, I couldn't even fully comprehend what was going on. Like, I semi understood. It's super complex. But yeah, that's the end of the review. I'd recommend watching it if you're more familiar with Lynch, or you're more into experimental cinema, then I would recommend it. But if you are not, maybe start with another Lynch film, get a little more into his style, then go to this film. Because Lynch is currently my second favorite director of all time, followed closely by Lars von Trier, who beats him by just a little bit. But yeah, David Lynch's Inland Empire. This is one film I will give an 11 out of 10. This film completely deserves that rating. But yeah, stay safe, stay quarantined, and have a good day. And do not watch this as your first Lynch film. Watch Mulholland Drive or Eraserhead. Then, once you've seen those two, go to this film. So yeah, stay safe, stay quarantined, and have a good day.